It's that time of the year again. You've left everything till last minute, you're scrambling trying to get all your gifts together, and you have no idea what to get the photographer in your life. Doesn't matter if they shoot portrait, wildlife, or street photography, or if they're a pro or an amateur, this list has you covered. The best part about this list is that all the gifts make you look extra thoughtful, and your only problem is going to be trying to live up to the hype next year. All the products are going to be linked down in the description below, so let's just get into this list and get you some gifts. Gone are the days of running around trying to get a photo printed and framed, put it on your desk for a beautiful display, only to end up changing it 3 months later because you're bored of it. Digital displays are great for displaying one static image or a whole slideshow of your images, and most of them have SD card slots and USB ports, so there's tons of options for how to get your photos and media onto these displays. There's really nothing like having something physical with your photo on it and getting to appreciate it every time you look down, and the digital display just allows you to appreciate that much more of your work since it can always have a different photo or piece of media that you've created. Just remember, you do need to know the style of the individual because you don't want to get a frame that doesn't match their house or their office or their personal feel, because it will just end up being one of those things that's sat in a storage bin somewhere. I also want to note, don't be too hung up on getting this exact one. Take a look at many reviews and make sure it suits their style and needs as well as fits your budget, because at the end of the day, it's the thought that does count, and as cheesy as it sounds, it's true. Second, we have an air blaster. It does exactly what the name suggests. Sometimes photographers notice these weird dust spots or specks on their photo, and sometimes it's on the lens, sometimes it's on the sensor, but you definitely want to get that off your camera, and it usually happens when you're out there shooting. This blaster lets you shoot the dust off of the lens or even the sensor as long as you're extremely careful. It's the least invasive cleaning tool out of all the options, and it's one that's really portable and easy to carry with you everywhere you go. It's the one I personally use the most, and a lot of other photographers I've spoken to always have one on them. They're especially useful if you're someone who's switching your lenses on the go and out in the field, because sometimes, as careful as we can be, dust gets on that sensor, and it's really, really annoying to have to deal with in post. These are used all the time when switching lenses and you're on the go, and they fit in a bag or a pocket so easily that it makes them the perfect gift for any photographer. Next up, we have a flexible tripod. This is a really inexpensive way to stabilize your camera on literally anything. You can wrap it around objects, stand it up like a normal tripod, or even bend the grip to be able to use it for vlogging. The one I personally use, and the one that you're going to see the most of out there, is the Joby GorillaPod. I've had mine for about 2 years now. It's super durable, it's never failed me, and it works great in a pinch. It's super portable, probably the most portable tripod out there, and at its current price, it's really a no-brainer. It doesn't matter if they do long exposures or not, these are just great to always have with you, and due to their portability, you really can't go wrong having one in your bag all the time. These are the solution to every photographer's harsh light problems, whether it's a reflection on a car, water, or even a person's face. These filters help eliminate harsh blown out whites, so you can keep the colors and brightness true to what they really are. It's how you can achieve that professional, controlled look even when you're out and about, and it's by far my most used lens. Now here's the key part of a polarizing filter, so listen up. It's important that you know the diameter of the lens for the person you're buying this for, because most polarizers are circular, which means they're actually going to thread onto the camera. Since they're going to be directly threaded onto the camera, they have to be the exact size. But don't worry, this is really easy. If you can get a chance to sort of sneak on in and take a peek at their camera or their lens, assuming it's not one of those photographers that's sleeping with the lens in their arms, what you're looking for is the number that's beside the symbol that looks like an O with a line through it. So if their number says 67, then that means you need a 67mm filter. It really is that easy. Next up, we've got camera straps. Now I know what you're thinking, that's a boring gift, but it doesn't have to be. Most photographers that I know, myself included, hate using the neck strap. So what happens is we take that neck strap off, and then most people just end up using the camera without anything. But once you discover these, they're a lifesaver. Now this one's a wrist strap, and it's super convenient because it's not really in the way, it's really discreet, and it's just there as an added safety mechanism. The one I use is just a bungee, but they have ones that are leather or canvas or tons of other material. I just like the bungee because it has a little bit of give. There are tons of different colors and styles of wrist strap, but you don't just have to go for a wrist strap. There are many other options for straps. Let's talk about SD cards. A photographer can never have enough of these. SD cards do not last a lifetime, and you never know when they're going to stop working. It also happens that sometimes we take more photos than we expected and we start running out of space, and it's always good to have an empty available SD card at your disposal. Now they come in different storage sizes, but most people know that. They also come in different speeds, and that really does matter with the camera. The faster the speed, the quicker it can process the photo and get back to shooting. Now that does matter more for people who are shooting wildlife or sports or anything with continuous burst, but it's always nice to have. I personally use the Lexar Professional SD cards, and they come in a variety of sizes and speeds, and I know I would never complain about getting these as a gift. These are basically like permanent SD cards for photographers. After we've taken our photos and uploaded them, we need somewhere to put those photos, before or after editing, or maybe both copies. And it's not usually back on the SD card, and that's where these come in. Hard drives are a great, affordable storage alternative, and they can provide redundancy if you set them up properly or have multiple where you're saving both copies too. Having multiple drives is never a bad thing, and I can never see a photographer not being happy with getting a drive. I personally suggest using SSD drives over HDD drives because SSD drives don't have a lot of moving parts in them, they don't break down as much, they've come down quite a bit in price, they're quicker, and they're mainly all electronic, which is what gives them all those advantages. Next up, we've got multi-tools, and having one of these is an absolute must. Whether it's removing a tripod plate, rigging up a camera, or something completely not photography related at all, these are always good to have on you, and there are so many portable options, you really should keep one at least in your bag. There are thousands of options, and I actually have many, one of which is on loan right now, and I know if that photographer had one, they wouldn't need to be borrowing mine, but I'm not bitter about it. The one that I use and always have on me is actually one that goes on my keychain by Orbitkey, and it since has been updated, so the new one is actually even better, but it has a flat head, a bottle opener, acts as a letter opener, it even has measuring lines, so if you need to measure something, it's pretty quick. I do like these just because since they're designed with the hole, like I said, they go on my keychain, so that one is always with me and never has to be loaned out. But you cannot go wrong with getting a multi-tool for a photographer because they never know when they might need it. Portable lights are awesome because you never know what you might need to light as a photographer. You may have a flashlight on your phone, but these things are brighter, dimmable, offer full color control, and have diffusers so you can get that nice soft light. Not to mention, you won't hesitate to use them when your phone's almost dead and you didn't buy this last item on the list. A portable charger. Not the small one that looks like a tube of lipstick. One that has the ability to charge your camera, accessories, and anything else you might need to power. The ability to charge your equipment and never have anything die on you is literally priceless, and most of the best photos are achieved through a long journey to get there. Sometimes that means hiking for days to get to the top of a mountain, or sitting there and waiting for hours and hours for an animal to show up. Regardless of the situation or the story, you do not want to spend countless amounts of hours and days preparing and shooting, only for your equipment to die and be the limiting factor. So this one, although it may not seem so significant or specific to photographers, it can really be one of the most useful ones on this list. Well, that wraps up our Christmas list for photographers. Let me know down in the comments below if you found this helpful, or if you feel like I missed something that's super important and really relevant for photographers. Also, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you found this helpful and enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.